Hi all, Hipper here. So it's been a while since I've been taking out the Colbert, and I'm using Rune, the new commander, as an inspiration on this build here, which is Roux, my preferred commander for the French cruisers. On the ship, it's also fairly, like nothing out of the ordinary here, double rudder and the increased reload there. And consumables, artillery 3.1 reload time, 6.5 turn, maneuverability, 2-second rudder, 620 turning radius, and about 37 knots. So this is my agile Colbert build here, and it's all about running and gunning. You can also choose to pop Le Monnier or the new Saint Louis premium commander on Colbert, and then play it more traditionally, like where you can really make use of that 32mm armor on the bow and the stern. Meaning that this ship here can pretty much tank almost anything that's thrown at it, except if it hits the superstructure. But that's an entirely different playstyle, and it works just as well, if not better, I don't care, but I just prefer the agile, and that's what I'm running here. So this is all about working your way in from the flank. That's what works best here. Like, I usually head in and, take on the cap right from the get-go, but in Colbert that's not the best idea, because you're just gonna get surrounded in there, and without a radar there's not much point pushing in so aggressively right from the beginning. Like, it's a different thing if you're in Edinburgh or Hipper with a great sonar, for example. So we're just gonna take advantage of the fact that our destroyer is spotting this Worcester here, and he went into the cap right off the bat, and I bet he's regretting that now, because he doesn't really have any backup at all, and I have 4 ships as backup over here. So, that's good right now, that's nice, but we have to make sure that we don't, sleep on our laurels over here, and because we have the majority of the team, so we have to push towards the middle of the map as quickly as possible so we can get all our ships into the battle. Once you win a flank, then start thinking about, okay, we have to be aggressive. We have to at least grab the middle of the map, and then we can start to defend. But as it is now, we are pretty much equal on points, and we don't even have the A cap yet, but we will soon, of course. And then it should be pretty equal. But to be I like to be safe in this game here, so I would like to have 3 caps, and then the Reds can have 1 cap. That's fine. So the easiest one to take is obviously the only red one left. So I've been thinking about putting the epic range mod on Colbert, because the reload mod doesn't do much. I mean, yeah, you could quickly max it out and then you'll have 10% faster reload, but when your reload is already 3 seconds, it doesn't really matter that much. So I'm thinking that the range is probably a better pick. The one where you get 2% extra range for every 50 shells you hit. So I'm going to play a little bit around with that. That's not what I'm running here. I'm not running any epic modernizations on this ship here. It's just the stock standard agile Colbert build here. So we make sure we turn away from this Pommern here once we get, or just before we get into torpedo range. So I was just waiting for him to fire, and then I was going to turn away as soon as I got in with around like 6 kilometers, because that's his, that's his ace. If you let yourself get too close to these German battleships here, you're going to pay for it, and it's all about timing, So as long as I can go away from him now and just keep burning him, then I'm gonna keep doing damage, and he can't do anything with his torpedoes. So that's the end of Mr. Pommern there. But now someone has moved into the D cap while I was busy, and it's because we haven't moved from this A cap here. The whole, right side of the map is the weak flank, pretty much. The Reds have the upper hand over there, so we need to move that way as quickly as possible before the Reds can set up defensive positions, and then we're pretty much just done for on this map here. And I'm still amazed at how many people play this game here and don't understand when you have to do something quickly. I mean, sometimes your team is getting behind on tickets, and you need to sink a ship, or you need to grab a cap, or you need to reset some other ship to win. And it's just so often that no one realizes that at all. And I'm just gonna beach myself here because I don't want to get too far away. It's very rare, well, it's not very rare, but it happens very often that people just are totally oblivious to, like, they could win the battle very, very easily by, you know, keeping track of how things are moving and what can I do, what is the ticket situation, what is the ship situation, what is the cap situation. I mean, it's so few players seem to even bother about that. And we're talking tier 7, 8 legendary tier here, where you should know, you know, the rules of the game if you play up in these layers here. So it looks like the destroyer and the cruiser, they are taking what is now the left flank. The 2 battleships are going into the middle, and that means, okay, well, I'll take the right flank then. So I'm still flanking. I'm flanking the whole game pretty much in this ship here. It's just the fact that the flanks have switched side. Like the bottom is now the right flank, and instead of being the bottom. And just always keep that in mind as well. Like once you have one flank down, like the A flank here, like you have to keep moving unless you are way ahead and you know the rest of the team has secured all the other flanks. If they haven't done that, and like especially if you are down by a cap, like you need to get moving. And there's so many players just stick around the cap after it's taken and just sit there and wait for the Reds to come to them. But if the Reds are ahead on points and they're smart, they're not going to come to you. They're just going to sit in some very nice location somewhere and wait for you to have to make a move. Otherwise, you'll lose the battle. And I mean, that's the smart play. I just missed out on this gearing here. He just popped up. Yeah, a stupid time. So anyway, we have another pommer in here, and I don't think people who have this ship here have a good time playing it, because I just see this thing getting burnt down over and over and over. And I mean, until someone is in the game who doesn't know that this ship has torpedoes, then it's going to be pretty boring, I think. I've played it a handful of times myself, and I see nothing special about it. I still prefer Brandenburg over it. So yeah, I don't a bit of a dud of a campaign ship, really. So you can see why I think the Epic Range mod might actually be a good fit for this build here. It will lower your reload by a little bit, but really nothing you won't feel in this ship here that already fires so fast. But it will give you up to 10% more range, and sometimes that's what I miss in this ship here, because I have just about 14.5 kilometers of range, and sometimes that's just a little bit too short in Colbert, and then you'll have to move, you know, closer, and that's a little bit more risky in this ship here. I mean, it has 32mm armor, but if you get hit, then yeah, it really hurts, because you only have 36,000 hit points. And that's not a lot. I think that's about the same as Exeter has at tier 5. So you got to put a lot of faith in that armor there. And then if you mess up, if you don't go straight bow on or stern on incoming shells, or they hit the superstructure and goes down to the deck or whatever, who knows, then you're like down half your health easily, even more than that. So to get back to the battle here now, my friends are taking the north cap. So that means that I'll just spend some time over on this flank here, just you know, being annoying, really. Just you know, making a nuisance of myself, shooting at the red ships, making them waste time, because we have 5 minutes left, and we are ahead by 2 ships. But the longer I can keep them over here on this half of the map, the more useless they're going to be. So that's why I'm also opening fire on this Des Moines here, not something I would usually do at this distance, because it's pretty hard to hit anything at 14.8 kilometers in Colbert, especially a narrow Des Moines. But what I really want is the Conqueror here, because I think this guy is one of those guys who starts the battle by sitting at the white line and waiting for like a few ships to die, and then he moves in. And I don't have to tell you that that is like a terrible strategy, if you can even call it a strategy. It's just like a very silly idea, because moving in like this, all is going to happen is that you're going to get burnt to the ground by the time you even get anywhere near some sort of objective. So the problem here is that Des Moines, because he's a bit of an annoying ship, and the cruiser shells, they seem to travel faster than the battleship shells, and they are harder to dodge, especially at this distance here, because I'm in a pretty bad spot here, because I thought the Conqueror was just hiding out there. I didn't actually think he was going to move in, but he is. So I fall off detection now, and then I'm going to use the island to turn around, because I don't want to get closer than this. I'm already too close. This Des Moines is only 6.5k away, and I would like to keep him at a minimum of 10 kilometers. So I'm just going to use this big fat island and the smaller reef here to make sure he can't shoot at me. And then we can finish our turn. And then we should be able to burn a little bit more of that Conqueror there. And like I said, I am just wasting time now. I'm just making these guys here sit out here and do nothing constructive other than shooting at me. And they might get me. And that's fine, because it's 2 of them. But by the time they get me sunk, there is no time left to rectify this situation here. We are ahead by 200 points, something like that, and also ahead by 2 ships. So all this time here just shooting at me is not going to give them anything. And I can see that Des Moines, he's trying, but there's just no opening. He cannot move in because I'm on their right side, and the other blue ships are pretty much on their left side. So they can't really angle to anyone, and the only way they can go is towards the south. And obviously that means taking themselves out of the game and getting even further away from the objectives. So I think the Conqueror here, he's just accepted his fate, and that's okay. We'll help him with it. So getting a lot of hits in Colbert is fairly easy. Like, we're almost at 600 here, and that's why you only need 250 hits to max out the 2 epic modifications, either the reload or the range. And again, I think the range is the better pick. So I would actually have maxed it out twice already in this game here. So that's better than, for example, putting it on Yoshino, where you'd be lucky to get 100 hits in a battle because the reload is so slow. And probably an idea for these epic modifications here is to take a ship's caliber and then adjust how many hits you need according to the caliber. So if you have like 152 millimeter guns, let's say you need 100 hits. Then if you have 203, then you need 50 hits. And if you have like higher than 203, like for example Alaska or Yoshino, then you only need 25 hits. Something along those lines, I think would work well. So I just lose to this Des Moines here. We were just trying to burn each other, and unfortunately I drew the short straw. So in the interest of time, we'll just skip the in between seconds here, because in the end the Des Moines gets it. So that's it. That's a victory, and that is an agile Des Moines, just farming damage the whole game, and 3100 XP. So hope you enjoyed it, and see you out there.